Hello and welcome to Beyond the Real Book. This is a series where I talk about jazz compositions and important details from the compositions that are often left out of notation, particularly when the standards are put into the real book. Today we're going to be talking about Blue Bossa. This is my second video in a row from Joe Henderson's Page 1 album. I just talked about Recordame. In this episode, there's not as many things missing in the notation as there is for Recordame, but there are two things that I want to point out. The first is that there is actually a specific bass line that is played in Blue Bossa. It's not just your standard... It's not your standard sort of bossa, and there is also a second melody that comes up, and we're going to talk through them. I'll show it to you, I'll demonstrate it to you, I'll play it slow, talk through it, and so on. But first, let's talk about the bass line, because it's set up in this intro vamp, and the idea of the bass line is it's a pattern that is followed through all of the changes, and it sounds like this. Over C minor, it sounds like this. So we hear that in the recording, and the logic of it and the way that you'll apply it to the other chords is 1, 3, 5 of whatever the chord is, 9, 1, and then hanging on the 5 of the chord. So on C minor it's C, E flat, G, D, C, and then hanging on that G. And we can hear that in this opening. And then the melody starts, as we all know. But the bass pattern continues. And then when we change to the F minor chord, we have 1, 3, 5, 9, 1. But because we then change to B flat 7, it's B flat. So C minor for 2 bars. F minor to B flat. After that, we have the D half diminished, and the bassist plays 1, 3, 5, 9, 1, and then goes to G, which is the next chord, and then. And so we can hear that, and what I'll do is I'll just play the melody through so that you can hear the bass pattern going throughout, and I'll talk about how it slightly varies in the B section where we change to D flat major, but it's still very much the same rhythm and that same pattern. Another thing I'll just point out is that because I do believe in using the original audio to educate, obviously I won't be able to make any money off any of these videos, so there are links in the description to donate if you appreciate the work. But yeah, let's take a listen now to just the head and pay attention to what the bass player is doing. So as you can hear, that same pattern follows all the way throughout. There's a slight variation when we get to the E flat minor. You could still play it with that pattern if you wanted. But in the recording, it's actually... which still has that kind of 9 sound on the D flat major 7, but with the rest of them, the same rhythm, but just slightly different notes. Once we get back to the D half diminished and the G7, it's the same thing. So that's the first thing that I wanted to point out, is that there is a specific bass line to Blue Bossa that, you know, even as early as like Dexter Gordon doesn't play that bass line, and I think now it's just general bossa nova is what everybody plays. But yeah, there is actually a specific bass line. The second thing I want to point out is that this tune actually does have a second melody, or an alternate melody, which is pretty common for a lot of the hard bop and post bop era stuff. But if we take a listen to around 5 minutes and 43, or it's pretty much the third chorus of the bass solo, we'll hear this second melody come in, which we should know so that we can play it if it gets called. It's a great thing. You don't have to play it in a bass solo. You could play it in like a drum solo or whatever, or even just as an alternate, like first time around for the final head. But take a listen. So now I'll play that melody just by itself so you can listen to it and transcribe it and figure it out. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then it repeats the same thing. But yeah, I almost never hear anyone else play that, especially in like live performances and live jam sessions, because it is left out of the real book. And so the crazy thing, I don't know if this is just a Mandela effect situation, but it's notated that there is the tag at the end of the song, which is not in the original. In the notation, you know, we have the which, I mean, so Dexter Gordon does do that tag, but in the original it's just straight back to, it's just straight back to that C minor vamp with that bass line. And so yeah, I just figured, you know, this is the recording that actually has Kenny Dorham on it, who composed the song, so we should not immediately assume to just like change arrangement ideas or remove things, even though, because of how it's now been notated and because of how we play it in jam sessions, it's probably fair to say that Dexter Gordon's version is more canonical. Before I forget, there's actually one more added detail that I wanted to point out. In the last 4 bars, the melody, Henderson will add a harmony where he'll play, and so playing them together, which sounds cool, and you can add that to your own performances of the head as well. But thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. As I try to say, don't just take my word for it with this. Make sure you go listen to the recordings, fact check what I say, always trust your ears as the main guide. But the point of this series is just to kind of point out the fact that often if we just rely on the real book, we miss out on certain key essential details that are in these compositions. So just always remember to go back, listen to the recording in full. Don't just skip the bass solos, because sometimes you'll miss out on things like the shout choruses and alternate melodies. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Let me know if there are some other jazz compositions where the transcriptions or notations of it have left out important details. I plan on doing more talking about hard bop and talking about monk, who often has melodies and counter melodies that are cut out. But yeah, I'm always happy for some suggestions for some more videos to make. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.